Hey y'all, we're going to be dip glazing these pieces. So here I am mixing up my overglaze, and I do use my hand. I have to add some water depending on the consistency, and I check the consistency by checking my hand. So here I have on the left hand side, where I'm going to dip my brush into first, is Murphy oil soap. And that helps so that what I'm about to put on the back of this ceramic piece is water-based latex. And so the oil soap helps it not stick to my brush and get tacky. So the water-based latex that I'm like brushing on to the back of this magnet is going to make sure that the overglaze doesn't stick to the back of it. Immediately after brushing on the water-based latex, I press it into this little green plastic thing that I use to dip glaze so that I won't like lose the magnet in the dip glaze, and I just press it on so it sticks. This next one, again, Murphy oil soap, and I do the same thing, but I don't press it into anything. I just brush on the water-based latex to the bottom of this custom cat ashtray. Same with the custom cat planter. Use the Murphy oil soap on my brush so that the water-based latex doesn't get tacky. And it also helps to kind of make it more watery for me to work with, so it's not too thick. And for this case, since there's like 4 little sections, I hit every section separately, and I try my best to get it right around the edge. Again, this is so that the overglaze that I'm going to dip my pieces into do not stick to the bottom, so that I don't have to go back and like sponge it off. I just remove the latex, and you'll also see that in this video. So I'm beginning to dip glaze. I'm actually dip glazing a brown trout, and I forgot to get video of me attaching or painting on the water-based latex to the brown trout. But here I am now dipping the custom ashtray, and I use these tongs so that I get the full ashtray in. It's bigger, so I don't have to like dip it just using my hand. And I flip the piece over so that the overglaze doesn't puddle inside, and I wait for all of the liquid, the excess liquid, to drop. I also give it a little shake to help that drop leave faster. The same thing happens to the custom planter. Using the tongs, dipping it in there, and then you leave it in for 10 seconds. So you count, and then you remove the ceramic piece, tilt it, flip it upside down carefully, shake it off, taking all that excess off. After letting the overglaze dry, you have to then remove the water-based latex. So over here, finally the brown trouts, you use a little sponge with water, and you rub where the latex was at, oh my gosh. And then you'll peel off each rubber, it's not rubber, it's water-based latex. Wait, is it rubber? No, it's latex. Okay. Oh my gosh. Anyways, you'll remove the latex. And I have a little tray, which I made, this little trinket dish, and that's where I put my excess latex, because I'm going to throw it away. Oh, and then also here, so after you remove the latex from the ceramic piece, the edge from the overglaze is rough. So I sort of like push a little bit to smooth out that roughness. And I'm also smoothing out excess. So you can see there's like little grooves where there's excess overglaze, and that's just normal. It's just normal clumping that happens with the overglaze liquid. So I'll sort of rub that off, and I recommend wearing a mask because these are really fine dust, and you do not want to be inhaling this. So I just wear, you know, sometimes I'll wear my N95 that I use to when I'm like mixing dry ingredients, when I'm creating or mixing my overglazes. Again, it's the same process. Using that sponge, removing the latex, and placing your latex somewhere in one spot so that you don't lose it. So mine is my little trinket dish, and I'll be tossing all of those little chunks of latex. Then I tried to use a brush for like smoothing it out, but honestly, I stopped using the brush and just keep using my hands. All right, so I did not show how I dip glaze this, but I partially dip glaze the green plastic with the magnet and into the overglaze, and it's really hard to peel off after, actually. So I struggle a bit, and I need to remove this latex from the back. But before I do that, I remove the excess overglaze, and I do this because it just like when you're pulling off the latex, if you don't remove that excess overglaze with a sponge, it's like dusty stuff like coming at your face. So you want to make sure to be very careful with dealing with that. Again, wear a mask. And just the same thing. After removal, you want to soften the edges. And here I use a sponge because I don't want any of that excess to like get on the back of the magnet, or else if I get overglaze on the magnet where it sits, it'll get stuck to the kiln. So for the custom ashtray, I did use the tongs. So here I'm just pressing in where the tongs were at because there's like extra overglaze or excess overglaze that gathers around it. So I'm just pressing it in and I'm smoothing it out. The thing about black underglaze is when you put the overglaze on top, when you're dipping, it tends to like bubble. And I don't mean like bubble like it has a air inside. It just sort of like has sections where there's less and then there's more. So it kind of looks like a bubbling effect. So I'm just smoothing all of that out. And I use my fingers. I use this tool, which is the cleanup tool from Kemper. And sometimes I try to press in that excess because I can like push around the powder glaze and try and like put in where it's like missing some powder glaze. That's my attempt, okay? I'm wondering if it even makes sense. And lastly, the cat planter, the custom cat planter. Again, the tongs left like little grooves in it, so I just smooth it out. And this is sort of that bubbling appearance, that splotchy appearance. So I'm smoothing it out with my thumb, and I'm trying to make sure that it's all smoothed out so that it doesn't appear splotchy when it's done in the kiln, because it just it would not look nice. So I'm trying my best to like smooth it out. For this part, I had to use a tool to remove the latex. All right, so I'm loading up the kiln. And so I have to first put these little stilts to make sure that the shelving gets on there fine. And then I am loading in the custom cat ashtray, the fishes. And so I like using the fishes because my kiln is small. So when I have large pieces, I can also put in smaller pieces around it. I could only fit one fish at the bottom, and here I am working on my reels. So if you've been noticing me taking photos or having my other camera, it's because I'm working on a reel for Instagram. So if you don't already, you should follow me on Instagram. It's the same handle, Nap Pottery. Here I am putting in the shelf because that first layer is all done. And then I think I'm gonna pop out with my camera again. And the big reveal for the next morning. So here I am again finishing up a reel, and I just want to point out the timeline. So, you see everything really quickly. I'm doing the reel again, but you see everything very quickly. The reality is that I load the kiln up in the morning at 5 a.m. and then it runs for 8 hours. Then the next day is when I open it up so that it has time to cool down. And so I am going to unload the kiln after trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing with my reel. I love how it's peeking out. And here is the reveal. I got 4 brown trouts. And then you'll see again kind of what I do in the background with figuring out how to finish up my Instagram reel and how to display the fishes, and it takes a long time. Oh, one fell. Come on, little buddy. And I like to use a towel because there's actually a ring light that I have, and I work on marble typically. I like to use a towel for taking the reels of them because they are really shiny, and I don't like the ring light being super shiny as well. And also, it's fine when I have the ceramic pieces on marble, but I really like to put them on something that's softer, just because, you never know. I mean, they're pretty durable, especially after their last fire. They're to the hardest level that they ever will be. They don't absorb any water, and there I am finishing up my reel. But yeah, they're quite durable in this stage. I love these two. These are my first customs, a custom ashtray and a custom planter. Yay! And here is this special magnet. So I did have a problem with my custom because I had messed up and it took a bit longer than expected, which happens. And so I wanted to give the person who wanted the custom planter, of course they paid for it, they're my customer, and I wanted to give them a little special magnet. So here I am putting on the magnet. Them magnets are strong, so I usually have like a warning with the magnets because that's what you should do. Don't put them near cell phones, or just put them on your refrigerator. There it is. Thanks for being here, y'all. Bye.